spend the day lying down and dreaming of a way to catch a plane to Tokyo.
Hello friends, LaRue here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be talking about my top 10 favorite books from 2020. And I know it's already 2021, but I just didn't have time to make this video before New Year's. So yes, let's get into this list. Okay, so at number 10 we have The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. So just trigger warning for this book, there is rape and mental illness. So just a trigger warning going into this book if you do decide to read it. So just the summary of this book is this girl, I think she's 14, she's going into high school, and her brother's best friend, who was staying over for the weekend, they're going off to college the next week, whatever, rapes her. And it's a heartbreaking book, but it's really, really good. But like I said, if you know, just trigger warning for rape and, like I said, mental illness, it's just a really heavy book. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a really heavy book, but it just shows her journey from what happened into through her high school years, basically. But yeah, it was such an amazing book. It was heartbreaking, but it was amazing. And like I said, when you go into it, it's really, really heavy. But yeah, that's my number 10. And my number 9 is The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. I think I said that right, and I think I wrote it down. Yeah, Kiersten White. Okay. I didn't think, it's not like I didn't think I was gonna like this book, but I like this book way more than I thought I would. I'm a big fan of King Arthur, Merlin, etc. One of my favorite shows is Merlin on Netflix. Go check it out. It's a really good show. And I've seen it over 10 times, and I love King Arthur. I just love that premise. So basically, this story follows Guinevere, and she's going off to marry King Arthur, who she's never met. And there is some gender swaps in the story that I really, really, really liked. No spoilers, but basically it just shows her journey of her. She also has, so she also has a secret. Can't say it because it's a spoiler. She also has a secret, so she's trying to fit in while trying to marry King Arthur, and a lot of stuff goes down, and just her journey. And if you're just a big fan of King Arthur, Merlin, and all that stuff, you'll love this book. So, and it's funny because the second book came out in November last year, and I had no idea. So I rented it from the library, the second book. So I'm starting that. So I'm excited to continue the story. But yeah, that is my number 9. Okay, so my number 8, what was my number? Oh, my number 8, This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Oh my gosh. I think this was the first Victoria Schwab book that I read, and I absolutely loved it. I loved Kate, I love August, I love the characters. They were just, ooh! So basically, just the quick summary about this book is, this is set in a world, forget which city it is. I think it's kind of dystopian too, but it's set in a world where when someone commits a horrible act, like a really terrible act, a monster is born from that act. And these monsters are Sunai, Malkai, and Korsai. I believe there's 3 types of monsters. And August is a Sunai, and they kind of look like humans basically, but nobody knows what Sunais look like. And what Sunais do is that they use music to steal your soul. That's how they kill you. And it's like really scary, really deep. So August plays the violin, and that's what he uses to steal somebody's soul. And how Kate comes into this is that Kate's dad, I forget his name, but he's like the big boss man, whatever, controls the Malkai. Well, most of the Malkai. So he's big boss man, and everybody wants to take him down. So August goes to her school to befriend her to take them down, basically. But that's all I'm going to say. But it's a really good book. Oh my god, I loved it. And then I read The Dark Duet after that. Great duology. Like, this was spectacular. And how August and Kate's friendship was together, I loved it. I loved it. I was like, I don't really need romance with these two characters. It's nice that they were just friends. And I just go check it out. Okay, so my number... Oh, yes. My number 7 is American Royals by Catherine McGee. Another book I didn't even think I was going to like. I love this book. So this book is about, it's set in America, but what if America had kings and queens instead of like a president? So I like that take of it, and you follow the, I think you follow 3 different characters. You follow, I'm not going to remember the names. I think it's like Beatrice, Sam, who are both the princesses. I probably messed that up. And then Nikki, or God, I forget her name. I feel so bad. I forget her name. But basically Sam's best friend who falls in love with the prince. It just shows their journey, and Beatrice falls in love with her bodyguard, but she can't marry him because she is a princess who is becoming a queen. Yada yada. Like, it's a really good book. But yeah, that's my number 7. Okay, my number 6, which I talk about all the time, is The Diviners at number 6. I read the whole series this year, and I think I mentioned before that I met Libba Bray at the book team festival last year in March before COVID. So, oh my gosh, such a wonderful book. I finished this series within like 2 months. This series was so good. I cannot believe I put off reading those books. And the last book I think came out last year. No, I'm sorry. We're in 2021. Came out in 2019, I think. The last book came out in 2019, like late 2019. Oh my God. So, okay. First off, The Diviners has a great diversity cast. There is so much diversity, and one of the leads is a African American. But I just love him. His name's Memphis, and I love him. I have a whole review about that if you want to go check that out. But oh my gosh, so this book evolves around a large, diverse group of characters, and they are basically the Diviners. They have special powers, and they have to come together to stop this evil that is going on in New York, and this person who wants to take over the world, basically. That's all I'm gonna say. But this is also set in the 20s. I forgot. Most important, it's also set in the 20s. So just trigger warnings for, some racism, of course, back then, sexism, etc., etc., etc. But this series is probably one of my favorite series. The Diviners was a great series, and I'm so glad I got to meet the author. I am so glad I got to meet her because she was so cool. She was awesome. But yeah, that's my number 6. Number 5. I don't know if I switched this off. But yes, number 5 is In the Dream House by Carmen Marie Machado. I think. God, I just butcher every author's name. I feel so bad. So this book is basically, this is the first book I ever read from her. And it basically, wait, maybe it's the second book. I take that back. But basically this book is a memoir of her life and a abusive relationship that happened to her in her life. It's just a memoir, and it's written so beautifully. And if you listen to the audiobook, it is narrated, I believe, by her. This book really broke me. Like, I think it's about like 5 hours, the audiobook is, and it really broke me, and it was a beautiful book, and I had to include it on my list because it will touch your heart. Like, her writing is gorgeous. It is beautiful. But yeah, that's my number 5. Now we're going on our top. Well, we're already in our top 5. So number 4 is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. Oh my God, this book was a beautifully written book that I could definitely relate to. So basically we follow this character who is a nanny for this rich white family, and she's at the market with the little girl. And of course, somebody was like, oh, I don't think that's her kid, blah, blah. So they brought her out to the security guard. They both get in a scuffle. Well, she didn't, he did. And then she has to call the dad. Just basically, it's just basically her journey of watching this little white girl and how that event affected her, and how the mom, I forget her name, her name is spelled really weird in the book, it's the funniest thing, but how the mom of that kid is like trying to take her in, trying to like, can't really explain it, but this book was really relatable. But basically after this event, it just shows her journey and how she's coping with what happened, and how she is, there is just, how do I explain this? It's like there's just a scuffle between her and this mom, because this mom is so ignorant. She is so ignorant and so annoying. Like, I hated her. But yeah, this book was really relatable. It's like, oh, I've been there. There's a lot of times when I was reading the book where I was like, oh, I've been there. I was like, oh, this happened to me before. Oh my gosh. I was like, that's happened to me. Like, Also, another important fact is that this chick, she is trying to find a job that has benefits. And girl, I feel you. I feel you. And she doesn't, but even though she loves taking care of this child, she just feels like it's not the right job for her. So I can't, I don't know what more to say, but it's like without giving stuff away. But basically, this book is it was really relatable for me. The main character is African American, and the author, I believe, is African American too, which is awesome. But like, this book, I loved it. So relatable. But yeah, let's get into our next book. Number 3, The Invisible Life of Audie LaRue by Victoria Schwab. Another Victoria Schwab. Oh my gosh, this book was beautiful, and I was waiting for it. It was one of the most anticipated reads of 2020. And sorry, my cat's over here, so I'm like grabbing his face. He's so cute. Sorry. And God, it was so good. This book was so good. And I remember a lot of like booktubers got like early copies. So I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait until I get this book. And Book of the Month actually had this on their Book of the Month of October, and I got it. I was like, ooh, this is the book I'm gonna get. Oh, it's so good. So basically, this book follows, well, her name's on the cover, Audie. And basically she's running away from something, and this is in the 1600s, I guess, in France. And I think it's France. But basically what happens is, unfortunately, she makes a deal with a dark entity to escape what is going to happen to her. So basically she is invisible. So when she meets somebody and she's talking, if they turn their back, they're going to forget her. And then they're going to come back and like, hi, how are you? My name's blah, blah. And then it's 2014, hundreds of years later, and she runs into a person who remembers her. So that's all I'm going to say. It's a great book. This book is so good. Like, oh, I loved it. Ooh, okay, so we're getting to our top 2. Oh, where are they? Okay, so the top 2, well, at number 2 is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I did a review for this book too. Oh, by Talia Hibbert. This book is amazing and it's beautiful, and I absolutely loved it. Oh my gosh. And the main character is Black British. I think that's how they say it. Britain. She's not African American. She's not from America, but she is a Black woman living in Britain. So Black British, I believe. So this book is beautiful and I love it. And it's funny because I posted a picture of this book with this outfit that I put together on my Instagram, and the author commented, and I was like, oh, I love you. Like, she is the sweetest. This book is amazing. This author is amazing because I read her book after that, Who Follows the Brown Sisters. So basically, this book is about a woman named Chloe Brown who almost had a near-death experience. And so she has this checklist of things that she wants to check off because she feels like her life is meaningless. Oh my God, I cannot pronounce anything. But that's basically what she's doing. And she's just checking these things off her list. Also, I mentioned in my review that this has a great diversity of cast. And also she deals with chronic illness. So if you do, you can definitely relate to this book. This book is beautiful. I loved it. And I listened to the audiobook over and over and I read it so many times. Thank you, Book of the Month. Oh my God, this book is so precious. I love it. And I can't wait for the third book to come out this year. I think it's called Act Your Age, E. Brown, which is her little sister. Because the second one is, oh, what is it called? Her middle sister, Danny. It's called, this is gonna like, oh, Take a Hint, Danny Brown. That's what it is. So I love these names in the books, but yeah. Great book. All right. Okay, so the last one. My number one book of the year. This was really hard to choose. This is really hard to choose. And to be honest, if I did read Chain of Gold last year, which I didn't, I put it off. I put it off reading it. But if I did read Chain of Gold last year, it would have been my number one because considered books are always number one, which I know isn't fair. So I'm glad I didn't read it. So, but at number one of 2020, my favorite book, Stalking Jack the Ripper. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Oh my gosh. So I love books and movies that are, well, mostly movies that are set in like the 1800s, like period movies, etc., etc. This book is so good. And I love Jack the Ripper. I love true crime. But it's like, oh my God. So this book follows a girl named Audrey Rose. And she is, I forget the name of it, but she works on dead bodies to figure out how they died, etc., with her uncle. And Jack the Ripper, of course, is going around killing sex workers, which is really messed up. I hate him for that. And basically she's trying to figure out who it is. So, and she meets this very young, handsome man who works for her uncle. Ooh, Thomas Creswell. He has my heart. I finished the series last year within a couple of months. Oh, and I also recommend the audiobook for this. This is, yes. So this is my number one book of 2020. So yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video. I'm hoping to do more videos in the future. I have a lot of ideas, so hopefully I will stick to them. My cat is so cute. You have to see him. It's just the cutest. Okay, he's like, no, never mind. But now he's mad at me. But it's like, thanks guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope to do more videos in the future. And everybody stay safe out there, please. Yeah, bye.